Welcome to the Marlee and Mike Show, everyone.
I'm Marlee, and he's Mike, who is also the owner of Transformers Dark of the Moon News.
And today we will be doing our Transformers Dark of the Moon special. And this is episode 3.
Yep, it's been a while, guys.
Yeah, remember when we said that it was supposed to be a week from now we would do it? Well, it ended up being about 3 weeks for a third episode.
Yeah, we haven't been having a lot of views lately, but, once we pick up, we'll start putting them back on a lot later. But anyway, let's get to what we're...
So let's get to it here. It was a really great movie, Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it twice already. Marlee's seen it once.
Yeah.
And it was really good. It's kind of in a tie for me between Transformers 3 and Transformers 1 of how good it is.
Yeah, I look for more of a comedy thing in it, and,
He loves to laugh.
Yeah, I love laugh. You see how wet my teeth are? I laugh a lot. That's how you know.
And it's also because he has a light shine on because he doesn't want to be too dark.
See, if it's not there, see that. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
All right.
So
we'll get started here,
yeah.
And we'll start off. It's very spoiler-filled, so if you don't want to know about the movie, if you haven't seen it already, then don't continue to watch.
Yep.
So first of all, the movie starts off with the Ark and the war on Cybertron. And it was really cool seeing it in 3D. It's probably the best 3D scene in the movie.
Yeah. You saw it in IMAX, didn't you?
No, I've seen it in real deep 3D both times. But I've heard the IMAX is a lot better though.
Yeah.
So that was really cool seeing, see the way Cybertron looks and everything, which looks slightly different than how it was in Transformers 1. And so the Ark gets shot down by the Decepticons, and Sentinel Prime is on it.
Yep.
And then the United States and Russia hear about this. They have their whole space race thing.
Yeah.
And
so it looks like the whole conspiracy cover-up theory and all that.
This was one of my favorite parts of the movie, how they mixed the old footage of what was filmed back then, and they said, we can go to the moon and stuff. And
yeah, that was really good how they did all that, because they took the original and this was one scene where it was actually happening, and then they had the TV screen of the guy actually talking.
That was really cool, and they actually picked a great guy to play him too.
Yeah, it looked just like him.
They really outdid themselves on those scenes.
Yeah.
And then so after that, we'll skip ahead a little bit to where Optimus and Ratchet are at Chernobyl, and they hear of some type of artifact that they should be looking for there. And that was, of course, thanks to Laserbeak and his planning and stuff. And then they end up seeing the driller, and they find a piece of the Ark.
Was it a piece of the Ark, or was it like one of the space bridge pieces?
It was an engine.
The engine, yeah.
And so it was that part there. And then I'm looking at my notes. And then we'll skip ahead a little bit more to where Sam sees his parents, and then he ends up going job hunting, which is kind of a tedious couple of scenes.
Yeah, but I like how they introduce the parents into it, because they always add a little comedy to the little montage that they have there.
No mojo in this one. I was kind of disappointed.
They probably left him.
He was probably asking for too much money.
Yeah.
Just like if they fired him, it's like Megan Fox. So after he's job hunting, and he meets John Malkovich's character Bruce. And he was very obsessed with colors in the movie. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
He's even wearing yellow socks on the yellow floor.
I didn't see that. I didn't notice that.
I noticed that on my second viewing of it. I was looking for more details.
Yeah. That's what usually happens.
And then, so, it had its funny moments in there, but I thought it just took a little too long. And then, so, Sam ends up getting a job. He goes to see Carly where she works, and he gets to meet Dylan, her boss.
Who's just I guess a little too close, in Sam's opinion. You can see that he's getting a little jealous there. So
he gives Carly nicknames and stuff, so he gets jealous, and they end up going out to his beat-up car after he sees him. It won't start.
It looks like Bumblebee.
And then he ends up trying to. He's kicking it like a crazy guy, and then Dylan comes out and he's a weirdo. So that was kind of funny.
Yep.
And then throughout this whole movie, the audience was really engaged in it. They were laughing when we saw it. It was a good experience.
Yep.
And so after that, we go to the nest base. Optimus is pretty mad about that he
The
didn't know
ending part.
about the U.S. knew the whole time about the Ark,
Yeah.
and you know,
Didn't tell.
he was pretty mad. And Ironhide had his clever comment
Yeah.
about he was pissed.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good comment.
And then so because of this, later on in the movie they end up going to the Ark and getting Sentinel Prime. And then so after that nest base scene, we see Megatron, Soundwave, and the rest of the Decepticons out in Africa. I noticed another time in the second viewing when we see Soundwave, the Mercedes logo is not on his chest, so we cannot see, how Carly's car ends up being Soundwave. So that was.
But he does transform into it.
Yeah, but when he was in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
the logo was not on his chest.
But it never was, because it was just all the ending and stuff.
Soundwave?
Yeah.
Soundwave, the Mercedes.
Yeah, it was just all the front grill part.
Yeah,
but
well,
you didn't have the.
later on in the movie, the logo is shown on his chest.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so it isn't in the beginning. So see a funny part where Laserbeak sees a bird on his tree, and he ends up shooting it down. So at that point, they're plotting to go to DC and meet up with Sentinel Prime because the Autobots are going to go and take him down from the Ark. So after that, we see Optimus and Ratchet at the Ark on the, I believe the ship was called Xanthium, and that was, I think, a Generation 1 reference.
Right.
And then, so they end up getting Sentinel, and they revive him later at the nest base. But before that happens, we see Sam getting his first days at the job, and he ends up meeting Jerry, who is
very funny character. His Jerry Wang, right? And who was the comedian again?
It was Ken Jeong who
Ken
played him.
Jeong. Ken Jeong.
Who was
really
from the
funny.
Hangover movies.
Yeah, and he really got into his character, I have to say.
Yeah.
Like he made that little office part of the movie, enjoyable.
Yeah. So he was like a conspiracy or whatever you call him. I don't know. Conspiracy person. Yeah. And so he had some information about the dark side of the moon, the pillars and stuff like that, and the assassinations of from Laserbeak. And then so very interesting scene in the bathroom that I'll set aside.
Yeah, that was one of the better scenes.
Kind of funny there.
Yeah.
And then Laserbeak ends up seeing Jerry, and he ends up killing him. It was kind of a funny scene.
When he's falling.
And then Bruce ends up saying he went all Humpty Dumpty on us.
Yep.
And then so Jerry's dead, and then so Sam does a little researching on the information that he gave him. And then after that, Sam hurries up and goes to the nest base with Carly, and apparently they didn't get the memo that he saved the world twice, and they won't let him in. So he ends up going crazy. He calls Bumblebee on the guy's radio.
Yep.
And it was funny because in that same part where Wheelie and Brains ended up having to drop their weapons and stuff, it was funny.
Yeah.
And then so when Bumblebee came, Sam ended up going in the nest, and then that's where they revived Sentinel.
That's my car. Yeah.
And then, yeah, so they revived Sentinel there.
Yep. So, lost in place.
So
Sentinel awakes, and so then, later on they see Simmons on TV.
And he's on the Bill O'Reilly show.
Yeah, he's like reviewing his new book. I forgot what it was called. Do you remember what was the book name?
Something about aliens or something.
Yeah, but it had all like the information about the conspiracy and all that stuff.
By this point, we realized that the world knows about the Autobots and Decepticons, and because they're talking about it on TV.
Yep.
And then, so that's where we first get to meet Dutch too, which is a very funny character.
Yes, he's like one of those pro ninja people who goes back to a normal life, but his old reactions and stuff were still there.
And then, at first I looked at him, I was like, oh no, this guy seems like a weirdo who doesn't need to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And then he ended up being really funny.
Yeah, he was a good character.
And then, so after that, Simmons, Sam, and Dutch and Bumblebee are all in Sam's house, and they're all talking about, what's going on, what information Jerry gave him and stuff, and Carly comes in.
And then Bumblebee shows that he has a crush on Carly, and he freaks out when Carly comes in.
I think it was more of a shock that she wasn't supposed to be there.
Really?
I don't know.
It just seemed like because Bumblebee was like, oh, like drops everything,
That was one of two instances. I put up one finger. That was one of two instances where Bumblebee actually opened his mouth. That doesn't happen very often. Later on, actually before, when he ended up coming to the aid of Sam at the nest base, he ended up saying Sam. I really don't know if he said it or not, but he did move his mouth. And then, so after that, Carly goes off to Dylan's party or whatever that was, and Sam, alright, so then they end up going to the Russian bar hideout place, and then Simmons slips him a $20 bill, gets in, and
like, stuff the done, the butt.
Yeah. We found out what goodbye means in Russian in this movie. See, all the critics are wow, we do need our brains for this one.
Yep.
So
I don't understand why it has so many negative reviews though.
Yeah, no.
We'll talk about
I don't
that
pay
later.
attention to them.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah.
They go into the bar. The Russians end up pulling guns out, and Dutch kind of all ninja on him.
Yep.
He's like, I'm sorry, that is the old me. That